We've got some breaking news into CBS Sports HQ. For the first time, the Detroit Lions claim hats and T-shirts that say NFC North champions. Last time the Lions won a division, well, it was the NFC Central back in 1993. It puts one of the longest droughts in division professional sports to rest. The Lions, champions of the North, as they pull off the win over the Vikings. Nick Mullins giving it away in this one. 4 interceptions on the day, including that game-sealing one to end it 30-24, the final, as Detroit gets their 11th win. They get the hats and the T-shirts, and now eyeing seeding in the NFC playoff picture. A moment that Detroit fans will not soon forget. The division champions. It's nice to say when you're a Lions fan and you've never been able to say it before in that specific division. Haven't been able to say it at all since 1993. What does this moment mean to Detroit?
Man, they had 20 teams back in 93, right? They didn't even get 4 more. So you like that they got the win, and you like that they got the monkey off their back. And this showed me that they were able to handle expectations. Think about this preseason, Joe. It was everyone's taking the Lions to win the NFC North, and everyone's like, well, maybe, I don't know, can they handle expectations? Well, they went out there and handled it not only through the season, but in this ball game where they faced some adversity. You saw guys step up. Kirby Joseph had 2 interceptions on the day. Big-time playmaker for them defensively. Melifonwu closed out the game with an interception, and you also saw another pick by Brian Branch, a rookie. We've talked about him all season long. So the defense today really stepped up big and helped close out this game, pressured Nick Mullins, got after the quarterback, slowed the run game down, really made this a Nick Mullins versus Jared Goff game. Jahmyr Gibbs had himself another breakout game. So this was something that Detroit wanted to show, hey, we can do it with our offense, we can do it with our defense, and we're able to handle and manage expectations. And I'm glad they were able to get that monkey off their back. Good for the city of Detroit.
Yeah, and this was not going to be a fun week of prep if you let this one slide. Detroit's remaining schedule, a trip to Dallas, and then these Vikings at home. The concern level would have built off a loss here. Instead, you're building momentum now towards the playoffs. It's a team that's got a lot of pop on offense, and you spoke about the defensive effort that they bring to the table as well. What's the ceiling for the Detroit Lions? I mean, we're trying to stack them up and measure them against the best in that conference. San Francisco obviously is the first and biggest name that comes to mind, but when you're projecting this team into the playoffs, what does it look like to you?
That's a great question, because when you think about a healthy Detroit Lion football team, you're thinking about very good along the offensive line, arguably the best offensive line in the division, very good on the defensive line in terms of what they can do at times to get pressure on a quarterback with, their defensive ends, their defensive tackles, and now that we're seeing a secondary that can turn the ball over. That's, to me, a great thing to have going into the postseason, where you're going to have to stop the run. You're going to have to find ways to create turnovers and big plays for yourself. So we're seeing a team that can go anywhere and compete. Yes, there's some ugly losses on their schedule, but when we're talking about the postseason, it's win or go home. We've seen this team go out there and perform with their backs up against the wall and answer the call. So, yes, Detroit is a viable option in what now looks like a wide-open NFC outside of San Francisco. Can they compete with the Eagles? Absolutely. They match up well along both sides of the line of scrimmage. They match up well against San Francisco, but we can't say, can they beat San Francisco? Those are questions that are only going to be answered on the field. But from a matchup standpoint, Detroit has the goods to really make some noise.
First playoff appearance since 2016 coming, first division title since 93, and looking for their first playoff win since 91. We'll see if they can do that. Last time they were in the playoffs, it did not go.
Lose Control was the #1 album in 93.
I don't know where that got pulled from, but that's why we keep Emery Hunt around. He's got all sorts of information bouncing around in that mind. I do need a thought to come from that mind here on the Vikings, because it's a team that's still alive, as we're saying about most of these teams. I mean, mathematical elimination is a reality for some, but the question that kept bouncing around in my mind was, does Nick Mullins give this team the best chance to win a football game? 4 turnovers, some ugly interceptions. Obviously, Kevin O'Connell, the head man, is an offensive mind. He knows what he has in that room, and he elects to go and stay with Nick Mullins in this game when, at times, I mean, it looked like there's probably better options on that roster, no?
I still wonder, where is Jaron Hall? Is he in the witness protection program? If so, I didn't want to blow your cover, but you got to give them credit for overcoming adversity. But at some point in time, you're playing negative football. We talked about the 4 turnovers. I named all the guys that caught interceptions today against Nick Mullins. He has to be better in protecting the football. if turnovers was an issue to led you to bench Josh Dobbs, well, what's going to be the case where Nick Mullins has turned the ball over at an egregious rate the last couple of weeks? Yeah, you've been in both games against Cincinnati. You came back and made it a game, and you made this one a game against Detroit. But the turnovers is what put you behind the 8 ball. I wonder where is Jaron Hall, or if they go back to Joshua Dobbs, who at least gives you some athleticism with his legs to get out there and create on the move and maybe even being a +1 in the run game. This quarterback position will be a problem for Minnesota moving forward.
It is a Christmas gift, decades in the making for Detroit fans. This day belongs to you, Detroit, NFC North champ.
How's it going? It's a hell of a win. You know, that goes without saying. We knew it was going to come down to the fourth quarter. That's a good opponent. You know, they've got a lot of skill, and they play hard, and we know what they're about in their own home, too. So that's a credit to our players, man. And I'm proud of a number of people in this organization. You know, certainly proud of the coaches and the players. And this is special. This is special. It's something you don't get to do all the time. They're always special to win a division. I don't care how many of them you get, because of the work that goes into it. But to do something that hadn't been done in 30 years for a team is special. And that's a special group of men back in there that are staying tame at this point.
Dan, your first game in this building as a Lions was a tough one, an emotional one for you. The opposite of the spectrum here. Just what emotions are you experiencing in this moment?
Yeah, you know, I'm pretty ecstatic, man. You know, this is special. This is special, but you know, like I said, it's a special group, and this is just the beginning. We feel that way. So, there again, I couldn't be more proud of the guys.
Special. Can you explain just in your eyes beyond the what makes it special?
Well, no different than how this game went, right? Things you know, you have to battle there in the first half, and they are able to score right before halftime. You come out second half, they go back down the field and they score, and then we put together 2 drives, and all of a sudden you're back up 2 scores, and then we don't. And defensively we start holding, and next thing you know, you're at the end of this game, and it's just going back and forth. But nobody got frazzled, nobody lost their cool, and when we needed it in the crunch times, we made plays, and that's what good teams do. They find ways to win the game instead of the other way, you know. And that's not an easy thing to do. But when you got the right guys who mesh together, and they work for each other, and they care about each other, and they're accountable to each other, it makes a difference.
Those 2 drives you mentioned back-to-back that you guys have fallen behind. I'm curious. You go back to you and Brad talking the first few times you guys are had. I'm talking about what kind of program, how you're envisioning. You imagine that on the road, that kind of noise, vision on the line, 30 years of history on the line, and you come up with those 2 drives, which is impressive drives. In a lot of ways, consider this circumstance.
Yeah, are you just saying?
You first took over, you and Brad. Is this
Yeah.
what you're thinking about? You're talking.
Yeah, I mean,
Put a team together that can do what they just.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know if you know, certainly to know that it's going to end, you're going to do this on the road and get the first one. But yeah, I know this, when you're around good teams and it's designed the right way, and you got the right coaches and people in management, and you got the right GM and the owner and the team, all of it, you just find ways. You find ways to, you can endure in any environment. It doesn't matter what the score is. It doesn't matter the elements. It doesn't matter where the momentum's at that time. You'll find a way to overcome it. And that's really what we got here. We got a group of guys that has found a way to overcome it. And look, we've learned hard lessons through a period of time here. I mean, we learned a hard one here. You know, first year we did. You know, we were basically found a way we fought back in it and went for 2 to win the game, and then we gave up a big shot. right before the end of the game for them to kick it for the win, you know. And then last year we had it, you know, we're up and you just got to close it out, and we didn't handle the 4-minute well. Offensively, we could have closed that game out, and I made an awful decision. You learn from those, man, and it makes you better. And you hate that it happens to you, but it does make you better. You learn from it, and everybody, because most of that team, most of that core is still here from last year. I mean, that is our core. So anyway, I'm proud of everybody. This has been a long time coming, and I'm proud of all the Lions fans out there that have been dying for this for years, man. That was for you too, you know. I know it's been a long time, so. You deserve that, and it's not over. That's just one.
If he the last 2 weeks, 2 critical turnovers, my guy that steps in the starting line 3 weeks ago and is making really plays for you guys. His performance.
Just another outstanding performance. That's. You know, here we go, man. Week 2 of this, and he's not just out there playing football and, you know, solid performance. He's a factor. He's a factor, and he's just getting better and better. You know, he's instinctive, and you see the athletic ability. He plays physically. And he's just getting better and better. I mean, he really is. We're going to have a good problem to have when Ducey comes back here. I mean, that's, you know, that just brings another playmaker to the mix. So he's doing well.
We talked about Justin Jefferson this week.
All right, so Dan Campbell reluctant to plan any parades just yet, but you can sense an excitement bubbling under the surface there for the Lions head coach, who has led his team to a place they have not been in quite some time. Here's a look at those recent 30-point games in a season. 8 such instances this go around for a high-powered offense and a defense with a bit of their coach in them.